On the grasshopper and cricket, John Keats. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. That is the grasshopper's. He takes the lead. 5. In summer luxury, he has never done with his delights. For when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost 10 has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost. The grasshoppers among some grassy hills. Vocabulary list. Words basic. Meaning and context of the poem faint. Feeling weak and divided by, or dizzy. Hedge, a fence or boundary formed by closely growing bushes or shrubs. New mown, freshly cut grass. Mead meadow or open field. A piece of grassland. Ceasing never, never stops rot. Made, created, brought about. Shrills, sharp, high-pitched and penetrating sounds. About the poet. John Keats was born on 31 October 1795 inches London, and died of tuberculosis in Rome on 23 February 1821, age 26. In his short life, he wrote some of the most important and memorable poetry in the English language. He was part of the Romantic school of poetry. The Romantics were focused on nature and the importance of the individual. They believed that people should live to fulfill ideals rather than being bound by the rules of society. One critic wrote of Keats, "By force of genius, in 4 brief years he had triumphed over all obstacles and won acknowledgement as a great poet. He portrayed the beauty of nature and its capacity to bring joy in his poems." In this poem, he praises the continuous beauty of nature by describing the song of 2 insects, the grasshopper and the cricket. The poem was written in 1816 as an entry into a sonnet writing competition between him and his friend, Leigh Hunt. Both poets had to write a sonnet on a pre-agreed topic in 15 minutes, type and structure. The poem is written in the form of an Italian or a Petrarchan sonnet, so it consists of 14 lines. It is divided into an octave of 8 lines and a sestet of 6 lines. The rhyme scheme is abba abba si decte. It is written in iambic pentameter. The octave presents the main idea of the poem, and the sestet acts as a conclusion to and an elaboration on the idea presented in the octave. Summary of the poem. In this poem, the poet celebrates the poetry of earth, the music of nature which is omnipresent. The poet has introduced 2 insects, as the title suggests, to represent the vitality and joyous mood of nature, even in the scorching heat of summer, and in the bleak and bitter cold of winter. The octave is set in summer. Even when the birds are hiding from the summer heat, the grasshopper sings his song from the hedges and fields. When he is tired of singing, he rests in a shady patch of weeds. The sestet is set in winter. When winter arrives, all creatures shelter from the cold, loneliness and silence appear to reign. However, the cricket's song emerges and emphasizes the persistent quality of nature. To the person dozing next to the fire, the songs of the grasshopper and the cricket sounds the same. These songs are linked as they are part of nature's persistent and loving force. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. Title. The "on" in the title tells us that this poem will be about a grasshopper and a cricket. Although these are 2 seemingly unimportant insects, they contain within their song the never-ending poetry of the world. There is never a time when the world is without beauty or song. Themes. The enduring beauty of nature. The sonnet describes the physical world and its natural beauty. Whatever season we are in, there is always life and beauty to be found. The natural sounds are the voices or poetry of nature, and nature speaks to us through them. This theme speaks of nature's eternal delight and its persistent presence. Hope. The sonnet is about hope. It symbolizes beauty and endurance. Both the grasshopper and the cricket are symbols of hope. They continue in their daily rituals, even when other creatures cannot. They provide everyone with the hope that no matter how hard the situation is, there is always a way to overcome harsh conditions. Immortality. The poem is about the eternal delight of the beauty of nature. The sonnet's message is that the beauty of nature, endurance of life, and love of poetry will never die. These things are an eternal, continuous process. Tone and mood. A joyful, divided by happy and celebratory tone or mood is created by the beauty of nature, irrespective of the season. The sound of the birds' songs and the buzz of insects. The tone is created mainly by the voices of the grasshopper and the cricket. They are symbolic of life, beauty, and hope. The harshness of the summer heat is softened by the cooling trees and beautiful green scenery. The harshness of a lonely, cold winter scene is softened by the warmth of the fire and the singing cricket. Line-by-line analysis. Octave. The octave is set in the heat of summer. Line 1. The poetry of earth is never dead. Metaphor. The poetry of earth. The speaker refers to sound made by nature and its inhabitants, plants, insects, birds, etc. These sounds are always alive. They never stop, is never dead. Seasons may change. Singers will be different. But the music, poetry, of earth will go on. Nature continues to persist. The use of the colon indicates that the rest of the sonnet will be an explanation of this statement. Line 2. All the birds are faint with the hot sun. Line 3. And hide in cooling trees, a voice will run. Line 4. From hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. It is so hot that the birds have fallen silent. They feel weak and exhausted, faint, in the extreme heat. But they are not left in the heat. Nature provides the shade of cool trees in which to hide and take shelter. While the birds are hiding and it is too hot to sing, the music of the earth does not come to an end. Nature presents another singer in the form of the grasshopper. The grasshopper takes over from the birds and makes sure the world divided by nature is never silent. The movement of the grasshopper creates energy. Despite the heat, his voice will run divided by, from hedge to hedge, and even across the meadow divided by grassland, new-mown mead. Notice the speaker's confident use of the future tense. The voice is not just being heard now. It will always be heard. It is a constant thread that will run through even unpleasant time. The heat, in this case. There is a thread divided by strand of beauty in nature that is never broken. If we listen attentively, we will always hear the song of nature divided by the world. The setting of the first quatrain is a comfortable English countryside scene, a domestic landscape, not some idyllic, secluded mountainous landscape. This shows the speaker's faith in the enduring, consoling beauty of nature. Eternal beauty runs right through the, sometimes uncomfortable, day-to-day world. Line 5. That is the grasshoppers. He takes the lead. Line 6. In summer luxury, he has never done. Line 7. With his delights, for when tired out with fun. Line 8. He rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. Notice that these 4 lines end on a semicolon. The grasshopper is introduced into the poem after his song has been heard. The song comes first. The personified grasshopper takes the lead and shows the rest of the world how to find joy. He is a pleasure-loving person. He is relaxed, at ease, and finds delight in everything he does. The grasshopper revels divided by takes delight in the luxury of summer. He does not complain about the heat. Even when every other creature is panting, sweating, and hiding from the heat, he continues singing joyfully. When he becomes tired, it is from singing divided by working, something that he finds enjoyable and fun-filled. He is never idle. When he rests, he is at ease in the shade of a pleasant weed. Note that there is nothing negative in the natural world. The weed is described as pleasant. It is as effective as any other leafy plant to the grasshopper. It provides him with the needed shelter when he too needs to rest. The The poem reaches its turning point, volta, at the end of line 8. There is a landscape change, sestet. The sestet is set in winter. Line 9. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. The start of the sestet is a repeat of the idea given in line 1. Like line 1, line 9 also ends on a colon. The rest of the sestet will tell the story of the cricket and the grasshopper. In line 1, the poetry of earth is never dead, and here in line 9, it is ceasing never. This line implies an even more vibrant energy. Nature never stops, ceases. It simply continues, it will never die. The use of inversion, mainly for the sake of rhyme, puts special emphasis on never, placing it at the end of the line. It furthermore serves as an effective introduction to the change of scenery equals summer to winter. Line 10. On a lone winter evening, when the frost, line 11, has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills line 12. The cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, line 13, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, line 14. The grasshoppers among some grassy hills. The winter scene portrayed here is as quiet as the summer own described in the octave, where all the birds have fallen silent because of the heat. Here, the personified frost has, like an artisan, crafted, divided by, shaped the world into a frozen silence, divided by a soundless statue. The cricket takes the poem into winter. When the other animals hide in their homes, the cricket's chirping continues. Instead of growing quiet because of the cold, the cricket finds a corner in a warm kitchen, near a stove, and continues singing louder and louder as he finds more warmth. Even though it is cold outside, the cricket is a reminder of warmth and comfort as he sings next to the warm stove. He spreads warmth. This picture forms a contrast to the white, frosty world outside. Once again, like with the previous setting, winter is not described in a grand, elaborate landscape, but in a cozy, domestic world. The silence created by winter is broken by the shrill, ever-rising in volume, song of the cricket. The human listener, half lost in drowsiness, divided by half asleep, mixes up the song of the grasshopper and the cricket. Both the grasshopper and the cricket sing the poetry of earth. Their rhythmic songs form an eternal song. The songs seem to melt together, reminding us of the unbroken thread of nature. The oppressive heat and silence of summer and the frosty, cold silence of winter are equally brought to life. The same constant chirping echoes through summer and winter alike. Despite being different, winter and summer are part of the same thing. The cricket's song is linked to the grasshopper's song, as they are both part of nature's persistent and loving force. No matter how harsh or bad things seem to be, there is a beauty in the world that never dies. The song of the world will always be there. In the certainty of the continuity of life in nature, we, as human beings, can find our own hope and comfort. The poetry of earth thus connects people to something beautiful, constant, and hopeful.